I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to show you how to play Flotsam Float. It's ages 6 and up, 2 to 5 players, and takes 15 to 20 minutes. Let me show you how to play. The goal of the game is to get the most seashells. You get seashells from, there are bonus cards with seashells on them that you can earn, and there are seashells on the bottom of each of these cards surrounding the islands, and you collect these cards as you're placing the Flotsam on the raft. For game setup, you get to assemble all these little mountains that have a symbol at the top of them, and it doesn't matter where you put them. You just have a total of 6 that you're supposed to place around, with 1 in the center, 5 surrounding it, with 4 cards underneath each one, and with all the little pieces of Flotsam put on each of the spots. It does not matter which Flotsam, which color of octopus is around each island, unless you're playing with the advanced rules. Then you get bonuses if you have the most, if you collect the most of an octopus, a certain color of octopus at the end of the game. But we're not going to do that here. We're just doing standard game. These are all supposed to be about 20 centimeters apart, but we're in America, so who knows what that means. No, just kidding. It's just, for the purposes of this video, we're having it a little bit closer together, so it's easier to demonstrate. The raft needs to start on one of the outer islands, and so we just picked this one at random, and whoever was most recently on a raft is supposed to go first, and when it's your turn, you get to pick any of the 4 pieces of Flotsam around the island and place it on the raft, and there's several stages. In the first, it's pretty easy to place something and have it not fall off, but if you have something like this set up and you're trying to place this on here, it can fall off. If one falls off, if it's just one, you put it back on the spot that you were taking it from. But if it's a bunch of things that fall off, then you put one on the spot that's open, and you give one to Tilda. The turtle basically takes any leftovers or things that fall off during the course of the game. So that didn't happen here. It's easy, nice first round. So they took, I think it was from this spot, successfully placed it. Now you flip over this card, and it shows you which island you're supposed to move it to and how many shells you earned. So you take it, and you can move however you want. There aren't any specific rules for how you move over. You're allowed to move around the board as needed. You can use 2 hands, and it's generally best to hold gently and carefully on the sides, and then you move it over to the pictured island, and you get to claim your card. We'll put their claimed cards right here. Then it's the next person's turn, and they're going to place 1, do the same thing. Whoop, they almost knocked it off there. And same thing, it shows another spot to move it. Sometimes it's the same island, it's a picture of the same island, and then you just get to pick any spot you want to move it to. And sometimes it's a picture of an island that doesn't have anything left around it, and then the same thing, you can just pick any available island that still has Flotsam to move the raft to. So they're moving it back over here, and they're collecting this piece for their stash at the end of the game. So where these bonus cards come into play in a standard game is if you place a piece of Flotsam and there are at least 3 pieces on, here we'll use this one because it'll make the next bit more exciting, and yours is the highest. So if there's at least 3 and yours is the highest, then you get to collect the card, which again is sending them back over there, and you get this bonus as well. And so move it over here, and that's how you're collecting bonuses. But this is where you start having some incentives come into play, because they aren't allowed to do what I just did there. If it's over here, you can use the piece of Flotsam to move it around, but you can't touch it with your hands. And you can use 2 hands, you can do whatever, but you can't change your mind once you've picked up a piece of Flotsam. You can't say, oh, no, never mind, I want to do this one. You're committed once you've touched it. You can put it on the side, that's allowed, and kind of scooch things over if you want, but you aren't going to get the bonus. If they place it here and are very careful, then they're supposed to move it to the purple sailboat, and careful, 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 move it over here. Whew, exciting. And they get this, And they get, oh, sometimes it's just a little bonus. They got 1 shell. And here's an example of what can happen when things go wrong. You can place one here. We'll say they place it here. And they collect this card. They're supposed to move it back over here to waves. Woo, that's a lot. And they pick it up to move it, and oh my goodness, a few come tumbling down. Well, you don't put anything back here because you've already picked it up. You're in the move phase. So you get to go ahead and move it over here, and Tilda gets this piece and all of the extra flotsam that went around. And then incidentally, if you had managed to pack your you get this bonus after you successfully have moved your raft with the flotsam on it. So the bonus only comes into play after you successfully have moved everything and yours is still the highest and everything is stacked properly. The game ends as soon as only one island has any cards around it, and at that point you just count up the number of shells you have, and whoever has the most is the winner. So that's how to play Flotsam Float. The target demographic for this game is kids who like dexterity games, or if you're trying to see if your child is prepared to bring in a Mother's Day or a Father's Day breakfast to somebody without dumping it all over them in the bed. This is a great one to test out that skill. The rule complexity is medium just because there's a few bits to get up and running for the first game, and I'm saying because of setup as well. This has a bit more setup than a lot of other games for this age level, and so that can just require a little bit more from whoever's playing the game to be on it when you first play. How competitive is this game is medium. It can really matter if you have children that are at highly different dexterity levels. If they're playing together, the older kid is probably going to do way better at this game than the younger kid, which can be tricky. But I also liked it as an adult because I quickly figured out, oh, if I just on purpose try not to take these bonuses and make sure my 5-year-old was playing this with me, make sure my 5-year-old is the one who's able to stack the highest one each time and get the bonus, we're going to have a much more equitable game. So I like that you're kind of able to easily adjust how competitive it is so you can have a better game with whatever child you're playing it with. Replay value is high if you have the correct demographic. If it's somebody who likes this type of game, this is perfect. They're going to really enjoy it. Similar games, if you like games like this, Rhino Hero Super Battle, you make a giant card tower, and it's a blast to play. And then also Animal Upon Animal is a classic dexterity game, also by Hava. But we have been thoroughly enjoying Flotsam Float, having a good time playing this one, so you should check it out. Thanks and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.